Angry Birds was a mobile game originally released by Rovio back on December 11th, 2009. In the game, you pretty much shoot birds at pigs to kill them, and then different birds do different things. Why am I explaining what Angry Birds is? If you clicked on a video about it, you probably already know. It was also like Rovio's first hit after making 52 games. I know that because they told us in a high school assembly once for some reason. I don't know if it's even true, but still. Anyway, this was back in the era where mobile gaming was actually good and playable, where you wouldn't be given an ad every 30 seconds.
Grubhub Perks give you deals on the food you love.
And the game was actually quite fun, easy to understand, and only $1, making it easily accessible. And that meant it became popular, extremely popular. In the early 2010s, Angry Birds was inescapable. You couldn't go to any store without seeing some Angry Birds stuff. There was so much Angry Birds stuff. There was an Angry Birds land. They also made many spin-offs and sequels to the game, like Angry Birds Space, which is in space, and Angry Birds Seasons, which has many different themed worlds, and also Bad Piggies, a game about the pigs. Oh, and also all these other ones. Fast forward to today, and the franchise fell off. They even delisted the original games. You can't play them anymore, at least on mobile. If you want to actually play these games now, you have to have like a physical PC copy or one of the console releases, but like mobile was the way God intended you to play Angry Birds. Not to brag or anything, but my old phone still has it installed. Anyway, back to when it was popular. What happens when something is popular? Well, people make YouTube videos about it. Except Angry Birds existed at an interesting time where YouTube was popular, and so people made Angry Birds related videos, but it was also at a time where you could technically make money from YouTube, but barely anyone did, and also no one was really even trying to. People made these videos because they wanted to, not for money. This meant it was also before the invention of the modern content form, where games that are popular now, like Poppy Playtime or Garten of Banban, get milked to death with constant slop videos made about them. But Angry Birds was different. Since most people weren't making money from their videos, it meant most of these were purely made from a place of passion. Like, people actually wanted to make these. I can't imagine anyone wanting to make Gigakadi in real life, brackets funny Gigakadi videos Lankybox reaction. I mean, there were some non-monetary incentives, like you could gain views and subscribers from the videos, I guess. And holy shit, could you gain views from Angry Birds? Like, when I say it was popular, it was popular. Some of these videos have views in the tens of millions or even over 100 million, Jesus Christ. Putting Angry Birds in your title was just like a view printer in the early 2010s. Look at this video. This is just a 30-second commercial for some European snack called Tyrokis Peba that was made with Angry Birds. So bearing in mind, this is literally just a commercial. 57,392,120 views. Yeah, no, that seems reasonable. Interestingly, I do actually think Angry Birds content kinda has some of the earliest signs of content forms of today. Like, there was definitely some of that kind of content. I'm looking at you, Fun Video TV, we'll get into that. And it probably helped form the modern content of today. Anyway, this video is me talking about Angry Birds content, because when I was a child, I had unrestricted internet access and would watch a shit ton of Angry Birds content, which is probably quite lucky. So today, I want to talk about some of the videos and creators, since no one's really talking about them now. And some of them are legitimately impressive, like a lot of the animated ones would have taken a real actual talent to create. Okay, let's cover animation first then.
And we're launching, and we're crashing, let's hit the pigs till they all go pop.
Angry Birds Hungry Hungry Piggies 3D animation. This is a video released back in March of 2011 where the birds receive a letter saying the pigs have their eggs, so they use a slingshot to try get them back, just like the game. Whoa. This video is pretty much like 3D Angry Birds, and you can tell this would have taken lots of effort to make. This video is 3 minutes 25 seconds, so they would have had to animate all that on top of creating the 3D models for all of the characters here. Now, I've never done 3D animation, but I've heard it takes quite a long amount of time, and I've done 2D animation, and I know that takes quite a longer time, so adding an entirely new dimension, that must take a lot of time. The description tells us they made this to further enhance their 3D skills, and they just like Angry Birds. Also, this got a very deserved 53 million views. I like how this one looks. Like, I can't describe the textures really, but I like them. All I can say is they look like this specific wallpaper. Oh yeah, they also just added a bird. They added this like a purple pregnant looking bird. The bird doesn't have a name, but when talked about online, it's generally referred to as bouncy because its ability is that it bounces. And like, this is a pretty good idea for a bird. Like, this could be the actual game. Like, you know, you got one that's like a boomerang, one that splits into three, one that goes fast, pyrocynical bird. Like, a bird that bounces would fit there. And also, there isn't a purple bird, so it would just fit in the game. Then it would also be like quite useful useful in some instances. Like there's a part in the animation showing the bird's ability and basically it hits a wall, knocking it down and then bounces back and also hits a pig. Like that'd be pretty useful in the game. Rovio, can you add this random ass bird from a 13-year-old animation to the new Angry Birds games? Thanks. Also, I got a question like the pig's idea here. Why did they send a letter being like, we have the eggs? Did they want to get hit by the Angry Birds? What was their point there? Why would you leave them a letter? Just take them and then don't leave a letter, because then they're not going to have any leads and they're just going to be stuck. Anyway, the birds pretty much just attack the pig structure. Bomb is just absolutely OP, completely blows the front wall away. Anyway, then the pigs discuss the fact that the bird's vision is based on movement, so if they don't move, it'll be harder for them to attack, which I feel like was added as an explanation as to why the pigs don't, you know, just like run away in the game, which is a pretty neat detail. Anyway, that plan obviously doesn't work. They keep just getting killed. Then one of the pigs tries to run away and Terrence launches himself at the structure and completely fucking obliterates him and kills the pig, shattering the structure into a million pieces. Absolute cinema. Anyway, then they get the eggs back, leave, and then just for no reason other than to just be a dick to the pigs and completely flex on them, they just launch the mighty eagle at them to just rub salt in the wound, and then the pigs are dead. Or are they? Because we get to see a shot of one of the pigs' eyes opening. Oh my god, they're hinting at a sequel. This must be how Marvel fans feel during like post-credit scenes. This is so hype. And we would actually get a sequel to this modern masterpiece. About 11 months after this video was released, in February of 2012, a sequel would be released called Angry Birds Ninja Swine 3D Animation. This one's ninja themed and starts with a recap of the previous video, along with telling us that this takes place 2 days after the events of that video. Anyway, the birds, which now includes Bubbles, who is the orange bird that didn't exist when the original short was released, but was added around Halloween of 2011 and now appears here. They're all asleep when the pigs, who are, you know, still recovering from being obliterated like 2 days ago, get the idea to become ninjas to steal the eggs. An interesting idea. I wouldn't have guessed the second one would be ninja themed, but it works, and thus they enact their plan while the birds are snoozing and then escape. The rest of the video follows the same idea as the previous one, with the birds attacking the pigs' ninja hut things once they found out they took the eggs. But then, a twist. The pigs decide to fight fire with fire and pull out their own slingshot. Bomb then gets ready to fire, and the pigs shoot a pig at them. They're about to hit Bomb, but then Bouncy jumps in front of him at the last second, which of course bounces the pig away and saves Bomb. What a hero. Moving on, the pig's catapult breaks because it was shit, so naturally they just run away, leading to a chase scene where the birds are on the move and firing at them whilst running after them. Finally, the pigs make it to this tower they built, and the only bird left is Hal. It's all in his non-existent hands now. There's 3 of them and 1 of him. How is he going to do this? Well, he launches over the top and hits the bottom layer from the back, causing the whole thing to collapse. And at the same time, he hit it in the perfect place to where he was able to grab the eggs in his beak and get away from the collapsing tower. This is sick. Thus stopping the pigs. Well in, fella. And off he goes. This one wasn't as popular as the previous one, only getting 16 million views. I say only, that's still a lot of views. It was definitely more action-packed than the previous one, and it was also the last upload to the Tom LG 1992 channel, which is the channel that released all these videos, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. So, what happened? Well, first off, if we assume the 1992 in the name is their birth year, when the original video was posted, that would make them 18 or 19. On top of this, there's also 3 other videos on the channel, and interestingly, one of them states it's a college project. So what I'd guess is that this channel was made for college work. The Angry Birds shorts could have also been college projects, and then they left college and stopped uploading on it. So I'd assume they were studying like 3D animation at college, and have now gone on to do something like work for some animation company or something. Or at least that's my game theory, who knows really. Also, I know sometimes I can just sound sarcastic unintentionally, but I want to make it very clear that when I say that these videos are legitimately impressive and that I enjoy them, I'm being dead serious. There was clear effort put into this, and they're actually entertaining to watch. Anyway, we're going to move on from Tom LG 1992 now, onto the channel Effington Could Be. Effington Could Be was a channel started back on September 2nd, 2009. The first 3 videos on this channel aren't important to this video. It's just 2 videos of a band performing, then a video of something under a microscope. You know, random stuff someone would just upload to their personal channel. However, the 3rd video is where it gets interesting, as on March 2nd, 2012, the channel would upload the video A New Generation Angry Birds Parody .mov, which today is sitting on 64,067,401 views. And Fair enough, because this video is once again actually quite impressive with its VFX. It follows Jensen, who, according to the video's description, was age 7 and also one of the masterminds behind this project. And see, this is what I meant back in the intro when I said Angry Birds content had actual passion put into it. This video was made because a 7-year-old liked Angry Birds. It wasn't done for views. You can tell because they literally didn't change the file name from the title. It still has .mov at the end. This is why I feel bad for the kids of today, because Angry Birds content was truly cream of the crop. The term slop didn't even exist back then. Kids today just have this shit. Back to the video. It starts with Jensen waking up to the sound of Angry Bird pigs, then checking outside his window to see his backyard flooded with pigs. And this is an impressive shot because the pigs are like actually behind the blinds, and the blinds are moving, so you'd have to cut around them to remove the original background and also edit these pigs into the garden. Anyway, now Jensen needs to kill the like 20 pigs in his garden, so he gets the idea to make new Angry Birds to help defeat them. We got Firebird, who is able to light the pigs on fire and kill them instantly, Lightning Bird, who can strike the pigs with lightning, Spinner Bird, who is like a saw that can fucking saw the pigs into multiple pieces. Jesus. Also, I noticed that when he draws Spinner Bird, it's just an earlier shot of him drawing Lightning Bird, so yeah, the immersion's kind of ruined now. I'm kidding, obviously, but I noticed that, and where else would I ever mention that? Then there's Clusterbird, who can drop little versions of themselves that explode on impact. Then finally, there's Opera Bird, who can sing opera so well it shatters the pigs. Anyway, then they go off to prepare to kill the pigs. And bro, look at this. The birds actually reflect in the kitchen floor. Like, it looks really good and clearly was made with lots of talent, which makes what I'm going to talk about later even worse, but we'll get into that. Anyway, Jensen then uses the new bird's abilities to kill the pigs and get 3 stars, with a new high score of... what is that number? Actually, hang on. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay, apparently it's 1 sextillion, 738 quintillion, 230 quadrillion, 901 trillion, 640 billion, 573 million, 100,820. I don't think that's an achievable score in Angry Birds, but it's quite good. Then the credits tell us that the effects were done by Dave. Good job, Dave. Also, the credits feature an original song, which is kind of a banger. Listen to this. It's so fire. Also, we get a post-credit scene of King Pig being squished to death. And so, Jensen and the Angry Birds lived happily ever after. Wholesome chungus. This video would actually get a sequel on November 23rd, 2013, being Pig Portal Problems, Angry Birds parody, which has a casual 101,733,929 views. This one's actually 3D animated, and starts with Jensen sat on his couch, hallucinating pigs in this squishy toy thing. He then goes to get a cereal, specifically Portalo's. Oh, holy crap, it's a reference to the original video. Whoa. Also look, the fridge says Effington Could Be on it. Then as he eats his cereal, guess who returns? Oh shit, it's the pigs. This causes Jensen to get an alert on his phone from Pig Radar, specifically his Namnung phone. That looks real, I don't know how they did that. He runs outside to see that a portal has opened up and pigs are coming through it to his roof. So he goes to get new birds to attack them with because, hey, that worked last time, so makes sense. This time they're on an iPad and we actually get to see a whole bunch of different birds, which is cool, but the 5 he chooses are Making Bacon Bird, who has flamethrowers and burns the pigs to death, Pumper Bird, who inflates the pigs until they pop, High-Tech Futuristic Robot Bird, who kinda looks like he's from Portal, and has guns he can shoot the pigs with, DJ Dubstep Bird, who can kill the pigs with his epic DJ skills, Longbow Bird, who has a helicopter and also missiles and guns. Anyway, the birds then kill the pigs with really good looking VFX for an Angry Birds video from 2013. Then the day is saved, again. There's also a video showcasing the storyboard, and also a rough edit for this video, which is cool to see. Anyway, the channel also had a series that showcased new ideas for birds in this lab setting. I won't go into detail on these videos, but you can go watch them if you want. Pig Portal Problems was truly a classic, absolutely peak. I distinctly remember watching this numerous times, and it actually got a sequel in November 5th, 2016. In this one, the pigs have now become zombies due to a virus, and they begin to attack Jensen as he's doing target practice. I have no idea what this kid did to the pigs, by the way. I don't know why they specifically chose to target him over and over. Also, the VFX have improved again here. Like, look how good this looks. The pig comes out from behind the bush. Wow. Jensen tries to shoot him with the bow, but it doesn't work. So it's back to the birds. Oh hell yeah. This time he uses, I guess, like an updated version of the pig defense app, which allows him to spawn in birds straight from his phone, no portal needed. This time we got Laserbird, who, as you might expect, is able to use a laser on the pigs. Dronebird, who's able to drop bombs on the pigs. Also, interestingly, he appeared as one of the options back in Pig Portal Problems and was a maybe. neat callback. Anyway, Jensen runs out of money to buy more birds, so he has to go back to the bow and attaches these explode tips, which are exploding arrow tips. Then he shoots the pigs and they explode. Cool. Once all the pigs are dead, he collects a sample of one of them and looks at it under a microscope. Holy shit, it's a callback to the third video on the channel. Following this, there'd be another ideas for new types of Angry Birds video, and then the video virtual museum, various artworks inspired by Angry Birds on display, was released on May 1st, 2023, and this video is just showing various pieces of the Angry Birds AI slop. That sucks. Like, I spent most of this segment talking about how much talent was in this channel, and there was a lot of skill and effort put into those old videos, so to see it get reduced to the most effortless form of dogshit slop sucks. Like, I don't want to sound too mean, but this video is just shit. Of course, all the artwork here is, well, absolutely ass. But hey, I'll give him this. The model for the museum looks nice, and there's still some skill put into making this video at least. Sucks that the main focus of it is just absolutely wank art. As of right now, the most recent video on the channel is 2 months old, and it's even worse. It's just more fucking AI slop. It's not Angry Birds related, it's a song about a goat with some just ass visuals made by AI. Great. Well, ignoring the direction the content ended up going, Effington Could Be was a banger channel producing Angry Birds cinema with clear passion and talent put behind it. So, you know, just remember it for that and not this. Moving on, I want to talk about Angry Birds 3D movie, which I mean could really be the title of any of these I've talked about. This one was uploaded by the channel Graphic Fantasy back on February 2nd, 2011, and it's currently sitting on 6,655,405 views. Wowzers. In the video, a bunch of Reds are deployed from planes in order to attack the pig's castle, and so all the pigs quickly run inside to hide. Sadly, this guy seemingly doesn't make it. RIP. Anyway, then the corporal pigs, who for whatever reason seem to be floating, prepare to fight back by kind of just standing there. Not entirely sure what the plan was, but yeah, it doesn't work. Then some of them have the idea to use these guns in the turrets. Why did no one else think of this? These guys have no kind of defense. They're just standing there. The birds retaliate by using Bomb, who, you know, can explode. Also, when this pig sees this, he lets out a realistic, terrified scream. The guns are ineffective against the birds as Chuck uses his speed skills to dodge each and every bullet, managing to break into the room where the pigs are hiding and kill them. His castle's kind of just fucked at this point and collapses. So you'd think, oh, the birds have won. No, another castle just rises up from the ground, and the pigs are completely fine despite just being in a collapsing castle. But don't fret, dear viewer, as the birds have a little sneaky trick up their non-existent sleeves. They pull out this big ass bird who's already big, but then they inflate him and he gets all big and inflated. Then there's this scuffed shot that I think is meant to show both sides of the slingshot, but I don't exactly know what went wrong. And then they launch this absolute unit at the pigs, and King Pig lets out a realistic terrified scream. It's the same one as before, actually. And the day is saved. So the birds dance to the song You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. Goddamn, even Angry Birds 3D movie has a dance party ending. Wait, did the actual Angry Birds movie do that? Oh, it did. It was to a cover of the song I Will Survive by Demi Lovato, apparently. This video kind of has less polish than the other ones. Like, there's many scenes in which various objects clip into each other, and also scenes in which the frame rate dips, along with the floating pigs and scuffed slingshot shot I mentioned earlier. This one actually has an interesting backstory. So the description states, this video was made to show production of the company Graphic Fantasy. So this is an actual, like, company. Specifically, an advertising company. And they would actually go on to make some commercials for things. Not sure what's happening in them exactly, because, well, they're all in Arabic, and well, I don't speak Arabic, but they posted some to their channel, and hey, they put contact info in the description of a 6 million view video, so maybe someone saw it and was like, let's hire this guy. So, you know, potentially, Angry Birds 3D movie led to this company's success. Incredible. As of right now, the channel's last video, which is also in Arabic, was uploaded 2 years ago. However, they're probably still active because the video before that was 4 years ago. Also, I want to point out this comment that says, dude, I remember watching this from a scam DVD titled Angry Birds the Movie 9 years ago. It was just a compilation of Angry Birds animations, and I never complained about anything. Truly high quality. That's quite cool. It seems that lots of people have talked about this. This is the only example I can find, but I've heard many people talk about this. Comment down below if you had a DVD like this, because this legitimately interests me, because, you know, I do have an entire video about bootleg DVDs. A lot of these animations were seemingly taken from YouTube and put onto DVDs to be sold in, like, dodgy markets, because, you know, Angry Birds was popular, so selling bootleg Angry Birds DVDs would be cool. I found some pictures of some, actually. If I ever see one of these in the wild, I will buy that. I really kind of want this. Alright, next I'm gonna cover a truly incredible creator. Like, these videos were banging. I used to watch these on repeat as a, like, 7-year-old. I am, of course, talking about Dave77748, a channel that was created back on May 28th, 2009. The first 7 videos on the channel aren't important to this video. They're remixes of songs from Super Mario Galaxy and then 2 videos of the game Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. However, the 8th video is where it gets interesting, as on July 2nd, 2011, Dave would upload Geared Preview. This video is a preview for a movie called Geared, which Dave made, and this is the part that shocked me about Dave. He made it in PowerPoint. He made an entire feature-length movie in PowerPoint, like that thing that you used to make school presentations and stuff. I didn't even know you could do animation in PowerPoint. I don't even know how you do animation in PowerPoint. And not just PowerPoint, by the way. It was made in PowerPoint 2003, or at least I assume. He doesn't specifically state what version of PowerPoint Geared was made in. However, his animation posted after Geared states that it was made in PowerPoint 2003, so I'd assume it'd be the same. This guy made an entire movie in a version of PowerPoint from fucking 2003. I didn't even exist back then. Genuinely incredibly impressive stuff. I really like how Geared and all of Dave's animations look. Like, he was obviously limited in what he was able to do, given the fact he was doing it in PowerPoint, but I love this kind of janky style of animation. It reminds me of something like early South Park. I always have liked it, and I can't really put into words why. It's just cool and has a certain charm to it that smoother, polished animation doesn't. I mean, look at the shit I make. Can you tell I like janky animation? Actually, in writing this, I came to the realization that my love for animation like this could have potentially originated from me having watched Geared back when I was like 7, and that forming something in my brain or something. I was going to go into more detail on Geared, but like, this video is already long enough, and I could probably do an entire separate video about this given how impressive it is. Also, this video is about Angry Birds. All I'll say is this deserves more attention, so go watch it, because as of right now, the most popular part, which for some reason is part 8, which is weird. You'd think part 1 would have the most views, but anyway, the most popular part only got 27,000 views. Also, this was released back in 2011, but it takes place in 2025, which is right now. Holy crap, Lois. Anyway, Agitated Aves. On December 17th, 2011, Dave uploaded his first Angry Birds animation, titled Custom Angry Birds Wreck the Halls animation. This one's just a short, 2.5-minute Christmas-themed animation in which the birds go visit the pigs for the holidays, play a game where they have to hit snowmen leading to the death of this pig, rip my guy. Then they debate what to eat, with the options being ham or turkey. I can understand why both sides would probably be against the other options in this debate. Then one of the blues suggests beef, and that's fine. Anyway, then they exchange presents, and the birds got the pigs some Angry Birds merch, and the pigs got them nothing. Those mean piggies, fuck these guys, they ops now, for real. So Bomb blows them up, the end. Overall, just a short, wholesome little animation. But Dave had not unleashed his true full potential at this point. This video was only 2.5 minutes, and was essentially kind of just a teaser for what was in store in future, as Dave would go on to make some truly incredible works of art. His next video was Custom Angry Birds Space Animation, the prologue, on April 11th, 2012. This video kind of acts as a backstory to Angry Birds Space, and explains the events that happened before that, and how the pigs got into space to begin with. So what happens is, the pigs are using a telescope to look up into space, when they spot a golden egg up there, and obviously that they want it, and so they start building a rocket ship to go up there and get it. The birds attempt to stop them using the same strategy as always, that of course, being to launch themselves at it with a slingshot. However, since this is a giant metal structure and not various pieces of wood and stone loosely stacked together, it doesn't work, and the pigs set off. Once up there, one of the pigs decides to go outside and immediately dies. What a fucking idiot. Why would you go out into space without a spacesuit? What did you think was going to happen? Then they use a crane to try grab the egg. An ice bird sees this. Oh, it's his egg, by the way. So obviously he attacks them since, well, they're stealing his egg. He uses his ice powers in order to freeze off a big hole in the side of the ship, causing all the pigs to get sucked out the ship. Also, it knocks over this huge soap container, which leads to a bunch of bubbles being released. As the pigs are thrown out into space, they end up in the bubbles, which explains how they're in them in the game. And they are then dropped onto many random planets. Like the game. Anyway, one of the pigs somehow got a UFO, and so he comes over to give it to King Pig, who then goes off to try get the golden egg from Icebird. King Pig ends up leading Iceberg straight to a trap, where he is surrounded by electric fences. Oh no, he's screwed. I don't know why he can't just go over and around it. He's in space, but whatever. Then a portal opens up and takes Icebird away, which leads right into the events of the official Angry Birds space trailer, which, if you don't know, starts with Icebird coming down to Earth from the same portal. Whoa. I like this one. It's a cool concept to do a video showcasing the events that occurred prior to Angry Birds Space. Also, interestingly, the credits state it was made in PowerPoint 2010, so we've upgraded now. Cool. Dave's next next video was on July 10th, 2012, and is personally my favourite. This one's titled Custom Angry Birds Animation Pig Factory. In the video, the pigs have created the Pigalicious Eggs Factory with the intent of mass producing eggs to presumably sell or eat, but they're gonna need some way of getting the eggs, and pigs that don't make eggs. So they use birdseed as a distraction so they can steal the eggs to lure the birds away, where they then use this giant thing to suck the birds into cages. Oh no. From there, they take them away to the factory, where almost all the birds are put into a cage, and then lowered into this deep pit. However, Matilda is put somewhere else. Since in the game she's the only one who actually makes eggs, and it's an egg factory, she's put into this room and trapped in a cage above a conveyor belt to lay as many eggs as possible. That's pretty fucked up of these pigs, not gonna lie. All is seemingly going well for the pigs, until a thunderstorm hits and knocks out the power. Should have got a backup generator, idiot. This obviously kills all the lights, giving Bomb the perfect opportunity to blow up and break the birds out of the cage, while still being unseen. They then kill the pig who was meant to be watching them. Now the birds have escaped and are roaming the factory. Meanwhile, the other pigs are attempting to get to the circuit breaker in order to bring back the power. Oh, also Matilda escaped too. The rest of the video sees the pigs wandering around with flashlights until they get the power back on, and one of the pigs gets sucked up into this giant thing intended to suck up the bad eggs, which eventually breaks, since it's jammed, and then when it breaks, it sucks up all the pigs who are now going to be trapped with all the bad eggs. Great. King Pig attempts to free them, however Bomb blows a hole in the walkway, so King Pig is unable to free them. Thus, the day is saved, and the birds escape, becoming free. Wholesome chungus. Also, the factory is in a pretty bad state now. This one is so good. It's kind of dark for an Angry Birds video, both literally and figuratively, because, you know, the lights are off for most of it. You know, they pretty much kidnap the birds and force them into slave labor, but I like it. Apparently, lots of people were scared of this as a kid, with comments on the video such as, "When I was a kid, this was the equivalent of a horror movie," or "When I was a little kid, this was the thing that gave me the most horrible chills humanly possible." And to be fair, this is scarier than most Angry Birds videos, especially if you're like 6. Also, interestingly, this one is made in PowerPoint 2003, despite the previous one being made in the 2010 version, meaning this was potentially made earlier than those. This video is currently sitting on 12 million views, which, you know, is quite a lot to be honest. This next video was Custom Angry Birds Animation Back to School, posted on September 13th, 2012, which, you know, is around the time kids go back to school. This video is only 2 minutes long and just shows the birds and pigs going to each one of their separate schools. Following that, we'd get the video Custom Angry Birds Animation Bad Piggies on October 14th, 2012, which, as you may have guessed, is an 11-minute animation based off the spin-off game Bad Piggies. Then following this, Dave released the video Custom Angry Birds Space Animation The Uber Pig, which is his longest Angry Birds video at a length of 15.5 minutes, and also his most popular video with an astounding 29 million views, as of writing this. So, Dave's previous Angry Birds Space animation took place prior to the events of the game, and this one takes place after the events of the game, opening with the birds defeating King Pig on the final level. Following this, King Pig visits a diner to discuss how the plan failed with Foreman Pig, who I just realised has different coloured eyebrows to his moustache. King Pig then gets the idea to remove the birds' powers. That way, they won't be able to survive in space. Genius. Now, Bubbles happened to be outside the diner at the time and he overheard that the pigs were thinking of new plans, though he doesn't know specifically what they were. So he goes off to inform the rest of the birds. Then King Pig sets his plan into motion by stealing the egg and using it to lure the birds right into his trap. All but one, that being Bubbles, who got left behind during the chase. Then, when the birds are trapped in the room, Bubbles manages to sneak in. Accidentally, he just wanted a donut and that ended up leading to him breaking in, but still. The pigs begin attempting to take away the birds' powers, however Bubbles manages to stop these shenanigans and free the birds. Oh, what a guy. Then King Pig has another brainwave and comes up with the idea to give himself powers instead of getting rid of the birds' powers. You know, that way he'd actually be able to, like, defeat them. So he does that, causing him to become massive. The birds attempt to attack him, but he's too powerful and they can't do anything, leading to a long chase scene that really makes me want to play Angry Birds Space. Oh, that's right, I fucking can't. He does get stung by a jellyfish, which hurts him though. Then the birds break into the facility and use the same machine to defeat King Pig, which sends him through a portal and to a dimension of eggs. Wow, what a lucky guy. And also a bunch of ice birds who attack him. That's less lucky. After this, Dave uploaded a video of the game The Sims 3 and then he vanished, not uploading any more videos until he randomly returned one day on August 26, 2020 to upload the video Custom Angry Birds Animation Tropical Trials. Probably the only good thing to happen that year. Also, the description gives us info on why Dave left and also why he came back, stating, "After making the Uber Pig animation, I had started to focus on a new job at the time, and as I became more invested in that, my interest had waned regarding the Angry Birds animation. Since I just made these as a hobby, my projects got pushed back on the stove until they pretty much fell off. And also, I decided to go back through my old never finished project and found Tropical Trials. It was about 85% complete at the time, with the ending needing some work. As for the future of my Angry Birds animations, I don't want to say definitively that it is coming to a close, but most of my other projects I had started are only about 10% done at most. Coupled with that are my job and other interests that take up my time. As a result, a new animation may come out, but I cannot put a definitive timeline on it. As of right now, this is Dave's newest Angry Birds video, and he would leave for another nearly 5 years after posting this, until, well, literally 21 hours ago as of writing, where he came back to post Geared Part 9, and finally conclude the story. In 2025, by the way, which is, you know, when the film is set. How interesting. As of right now, this is his newest upload. The description of this one also gives us another update. As for future activity, I'm creating a playlist so you can watch the entire film. I may or may not upload anything for a while, and I do not have any projects on the docket right now. I'm glad to see so many of you have enjoyed my animations. It's pretty cool knowing that I created wonderful pieces of nostalgia for many of you, and that was the story of Dave 77748. Also, I want to mention there's another creator called DP Motion who was inspired by Dave, and also had apparently contacted Dave to ask about his Angry Birds animations according to the description of Tropical Trials, and now they make similar animations to him, which is cool. So yeah, if you want more videos like this, go check out that channel. Okay, we've been talking about Angry Birds animations for a while, and there's one big elephant in the room I've been purposely ignoring, that of course being Fun Video TV, a name that probably just sent a shiver down the spine of everyone watching. A channel that I will actually have an entire video on, so you know, go check that out after this one. Also, I'll keep my coverage brief since, you know, I already have an entire video on them, but Fun Video TV is a German channel that uploaded Angry Birds animations that were weird. It's kind of the earliest form of like this shit, where they'd insert Angry Birds into any popular thing. You know, we got SpongeBob, Mario, Temple Run, just like popular stuff. And they did this all the way up until 2019. I gotta respect that they stuck with Angry Birds even after it died, inserting it with things like the Globlo Gab Galab or Baldi's Basics to try and get views after Angry Birds died. It's kind of surprising they never jumped ship to something else. Now, the models used in these videos are kind of odd, and the videos are all weird in ways I can't describe. I mean, just look. And one of them takes the cake as being the best. A true modern work of art, up there with like The Godfather and Shawshank Redemption. You probably already know what it is. I'm talking about Angry Birds Dance Gangnam Style Music Emoji 3D Animated Mashup Parody Smiley Face Fun Video TV Dash Style Winky Face close bracket. This video is probably the best video to encompass Fun Video TV as a whole. Just being a bunch of popular shit mashed together. And look at these models. Why do they have bodies and why are they like this? Okay, so this video features Angry Birds, Gangnam Style, The Simpsons, Sonic, Mario, Harry Potter, Transformers, and fucking Obama for some reason. Just anything and everything with no rhyme or reason. Anyway, I'm gonna move on now. If you want to see more of Fun Video TV, go watch that video. Now, moving on from animation, next I want to mention something quite interesting. That being the fact that Jack Sucks at Life, who is a YouTuber who I also have a video about that you should watch, made Angry Birds videos before he got big. Jack started his YouTube career back on September 27th, 2008 with the Sam Smells of Apricots channel. It's called that because he had a friend called Sam and he spilled apricot juice on him one time, so if you're curious. He started the channel at age 12, and originally he would do skits and short films, with his first public video being in 2011. He deleted his older ones, and at that time Angry Birds was the hit popular thing, so his second public video was about Angry Birds, being Angry Birds Preview, which was posted on August 6, 2011. This was just a 16-second preview of an upcoming video, but because it had Angry Birds in the title, it blew up, currently having 1.6 million views, and as of 2013, it had 1.2 million views, just because Angry Birds was that popular. Jack himself even stated that Angry Birds would just get you so many views.
I don't know what it was, but just Angry Birds at that point in time, it created absolutely insane views. Like, this was just a 14-second preview of this video, but for some reason it just got crazy. It just shows you how different the YouTube algorithm worked at this point.
Okay, it's just kind of unrelated, but can someone in the comments tell me if like it's bad to like, inhale raid fumes? Because I left my window open and a bunch of bugs went to my light because they attracted the light, so I sprayed raid everywhere, and now I'm sat in my room, but I obviously can't open the window to get the raid smell out, but I'm recording this video and I'm just inhaling a bunch of raid fumes. Someone tell me if I'm gonna die in the comments. Thanks. Anyway, the video that this was a preview of, Angry Birds movie trailer, would eventually release on August 16th, 2011, which is a trailer for a fictional Angry Birds movie with some pretty impressive editing considering Jack would have been 15 at the time. This video shows the Angry Birds coming to Earth and attacking people for some reason. Seems out of character for them, and I'm not entirely sure what the motive for the attack was, but oh well. Also, fun fact, this plush scene here here cost Jack £5.90 and he bought it from Amazon in July 2011. Cool. Anyway, his next Angry Birds video was Angry Birds stop motion animation, which was posted February 16, 2012. This video is an animation done with paper Angry Birds blue tacked to Jack's wall and sees Jack use the paper Angry Birds to destroy paper pigs, essentially playing the game but on his wall. Once again, this video is surprisingly good given that Jack made it when he was like 15 years old. Now this was Jack's last Angry Birds video, at least on the Sam Smells Vapourcots channel, because Jack has many channels, one of which being EJ Saf, which was a channel owned by Jack and his friend Ellie, created back on August 17th, 2011. And this one also has an Angry Birds video, being Angry Birds in Real Life, posted back on December 22nd, 2011, which I know is before the previous one I talked about, but like I didn't want to flip-flop between channels. So this one is 41 seconds long and is, well, Angry Birds in real life, and sees Ellie come across a bomb in a slingshot and shoot him into a shed that blows up. The effects in this one are actually really good, which I know I keep saying, but like, look at it. Well done, Jack. Okay, I'm not going to talk about Jack anymore. If you want to see the rest of his story, go watch this. Okay, I actually just remembered I made fucking Angry Birds videos. I guess I still do. I'm kind of doing it right now. Anyway, they're all private now, thank God. But there were such classics as Angry Birds Space Movie Stop Motion, which has an incoherent plot, but considering I was like 8 is fairly impressively done. And Black's Missing, which is in 240p. It's just a few images of Angry Birds in various locations for 10 minutes. Good shit, mate. The premise here, I'd assume, is that Bomb, you know, the black bird, is missing, hence the name Black's Missing. Then there's my magnum opus, Angry Birds, the movie, which is an hour 13 minutes long and is in 240p. Also, I want to point out, this was uploaded in 2015, which is a year before the actual Angry Birds movie came out, so I have no clue what the premise is or what's happening, and I'm not about to watch 73 minutes of this shit. I'm also not sure how at all I was able to make a feature-length movie at age 8. Anyway, finally, I want to mention EvanTubeHD, which was a channel started back on September 21st, 2011. The channel featured Evan, who was a kid that would get to open cool toys and also do like challenges. And the toys included lots of Angry Birds merch. In fact, the very first video on the channel was an Angry Birds video, being a stop motion done with plushes. And hey, it is in 720p, which was HD at the time, so the name's not a lie. Pretty much all his early videos were Angry Birds themed. He'd make these clay models, and I distinctly remember following his tutorials to make my own models that I wish I had pictures of, but I can't seem to find either the models or any images of them, but I swear I made them. If I do, I'll throw them up on screen. Anyway, on top of making his own models, he'd also open Angry Birds toys, and oh my god, I would genuinely buy anything EvanTubeHD opened. I only just realized a lot of these are sponsorships, and oh boy, they had to have been the most effective sponsors in YouTube history, because I, and probably many other kids, would immediately get driven to the nearest Toys R Us to buy whatever Angry Birds thing Evan had in his newest video. My £15 a week pocket money, it's going on Angry Birds shit. The 20 quid from the Tooth Fairy, the Angry Birds. Birthday money, also Angry Birds. Other ways of getting money as a child I can't think of, Angry Birds. I bought like 20 of these Angry Birds Space Mashems things after watching this video, which I watched like 100 times. This is a pretty good video. Like, this scene here would be 6-year-old me's dream. Look at all those toys. I'm kind of curious what he did with all those, but oh well. Halfway through the toy review, it becomes Evan having to use the Mashems to defeat the pigs, and like, why was everyone who made Angry Birds videos just like insanely goated at VFX? Like, I haven't seen this much good content with any other game. There's barely even any bad content. Anyway, I had loads of these because of these videos. I had like 6 of the eggs, 3 of these packs, and never got a fucking bomb, which pissed me off. I could just never find it. EvanTube's videos are actually quite wholesome. Glad I grew up with this and not this. Kids these days will never understand how it felt when EvanTube got Mr. Gold. The channel's just a kid and he plays with toys, and then other kids watch him. It's super wholesome chungus. And now he's like an adult. It's this weird thing called aging. He's got to be set for life from this though. Like, the channel has 4.6 billion views. And that concludes the yapping about Angry Birds videos. If you enjoyed, watch the videos on screen and also check out Our Stupid School. It's a cartoon I made and I'm in. Season 2 might even already be out when this comes out, depending on when I actually finish this video. Anyway, cool, bye.